Moose. It's what's for dinner. And breakfast, and lunch, and you dream about it, and you never really do get it. But sometimes you get trolls. That's all I can get in this grind lately anyway. Hopefully we can at least avoid that. Just watching the short you posted as Flinter started streaming. You're talking to Kyla, I assume? Nice. The big mail is live. Where? I don't know, big mail. That was a good question. Dallas or Buccaneers? Dude, I'm afraid it's going to be the Buccaneers. I feel like they don't deserve it. I don't know. It just has a weird vibe about it. Moosed for dinner. Got here just in time. Welcome in, Christopher. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Maybe today will be the day. You mean Meese? I should have said Meese. Would have made more sense. Hope you're having a good day. I am, man. Kind of getting back into the swing of things after the ATA show. That's a whole story in and of itself that I'll tell in a bit. But, yeah, just kind of, you know, getting back to normal because, was it last week? No. The week before last, I got sick. And it messed up my whole schedule. I was basically recording on the day that the video was meant to be uploaded. So that was the whole thing. I never like doing that. I feel rushed. I feel like I can't hunt with the same level of like, detail that I would like to. Because I've got maybe 3 hours and then I gotta start editing and all that. So it's just been nice to kind of get back to normal with all that. Trippy, thank you for the super chat. Good luck, Moose for dinner. I like it. I saw your, I think Nightbot deleted it, but I saw your thing that said, like, Flint, my boy, or something, and it made me think of Sponge Boy, me Bob. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. How do you never get bored of Call of the Wild? It's the combination of, like, classic and other things into it, mainly. Because I really don't get bored of Call of the Wild these days. But between, you know, taking care of Shadow and having other games to play, I don't end up at a point where I'm looking for things to do. I always like, whether it's a Great One grind or the Revan 2 Lee Diamond Challenge in single player, those types of things have kept me busy for months. So I never sit down and am just completely at a loss. Sometimes when I'm going to make a video, because I don't like doing repetitive content, at least over the course of a week, like I don't want to do 2 Moose Grind videos, unless I were to do a Moose Grind video the next day, kill the Great One, that would be a different thing. Sometimes that can be difficult to come up with something new. But even then, it's different for me. So I look at it in that way, and I still don't find it boring. Oh, nice, T-Rected, nice. Any tips for beginner classic player? Take it slow. Crouch around if you have to, wait for calls. I would probably be on a map like Logger's Point that's got 2 tier species, because you start out for free with the Dobleat, so you can call in Mule Deer and Whitetail that way. And just, like I said, take it slow. You run around often in Call of the Wild. Call of the Wild in a large way is about being efficient, covering a lot of ground. Classic is not so much. I would just walk with my hunter mate out, wait for a deer to call it in, shoot it, rinse, repeat, until you kind of, you know, get used to the pacing of the game and stuff. Then you can maybe run around a little bit more. Oftentimes late into hunts, say you're hunting for 2 hours. I don't know where this other bull is. You go 2 hours in, haven't seen anything for 15 minutes. Maybe that's a good time to start like running and covering ground. But early in hunts, when nothing's been spooked, I would take it super slow. Can you start streaming more Classic? Hopefully this week I'll actually be able to stream Classic. Have I gotten to once yet? Yeah, because the first week I was sick, and then the next week something happened. I had to cancel one of them, then I was sick, and then I thought, I'll go ahead and tell my ATA fiasco story. I thought that I was leaving Thursday night, but I was supposed to leave Tuesday night. I completely screwed up my days. It wasn't that I got the dates wrong so much. I just had it in my head that it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. That was that. No big deal. TK messages me Monday, like 9 p.m. He goes, "Hey, how long's your drive tomorrow?" And I said, "What?" "Yeah, like, how long do you have to drive?" I was like, "Dude, I thought it was Friday. It's Monday. What are you talking about?" No, the show's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, spent all day Tuesday recording like 3 videos for prep. That's why I didn't stream Wednesday or Friday, because I wasn't there. Goodness, I don't know. Finished editing the last video at 10 p.m., went to bed. Shadow was a menace. She knew something was up. She wouldn't stop whining, wanted to go outside. I maybe slept 30 minutes, jumped in the truck, drove 8.5 or 9 hours, whatever it is, to Indy, straight into the show all day, and then I think it was 4:30. We went back for like basically to take a nap for an hour. I woke up and I looked dead. My eyes were so bloodshot. I looked absolutely awful. I mentioned in Saturday's video, I think, that I got to meet a couple of you guys at the show, and I was super glad it wasn't that day, because I seriously looked horrible. I probably couldn't have even carried on a conversation. I was so dead. How do you have the patience to play this game? I just can't. I love watching, but I can't play it. I think for me it's, well, do you hunt in real life as well? Because for me it's just so much faster paced even than real life hunting, that it's always kind of action packed in that way. No, Coops, I've not got the black bear. So I was at about 5,000 kills. New England Mountains was revealed or announced that it was going to come out, whatever. And black bear were a part of that. So I just said, okay, I'm 5,000 kills into this thing. I'm a little bit burnt out with it. I'm just going to wait. I'll resume on New England. And frankly, New England's just not as good for black bear as I was hoping it would be. So we're going to worry about the moose. I feel like that's more achievable. And assuming we can get it, you know, relatively soon. So Aaron's coming here this weekend. After that, I should have a lot more time to sink into this thing. And hopefully, you know, by mid-February we can get it and we'll go back to the black bear grind. Oh, there's so much cool stuff, Bottom Boys. So I think today we have the new dart and bows. There's like a 3-minute, 4-minute spiel from one of the guys that talked about, you know, the new stuff with the new bows, and then TK and I got to shoot them. They're both great. They're so well balanced, particularly the veracity. It's a 35-inch axle to axle, which is kind of between like a hunting bow and a target bow, and that's what it's designed for. It's meant to be, if you target shoot and hunt, it's a bow that can do both. But it's so well balanced. It's incredible. And it comes in the red, white, and blue, so I'm probably gonna get that one. We'll see. 35 is a little longer than I would ideally like for hunting, but it feels incredible in the hand. What's up, Caleb? I don't think that video's out yet. There's a lighted knock, smart knock, that we're gonna be testing out as well. That thing looks incredible. There's so much cool stuff. I don't know the total number of videos we did, but I would guess it's double digits. What's your favorite animal to hunt and on what map? Gray wolves on Yukon's actually my favorite. I don't know if that membership messages are so odd with alerts. Cody, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. How'd you know when it was time to have Kylie move in with you? Well, I don't know how there wasn't really, like, ever a conversation about it, frankly. It was just the age-old saying, when you know, you know. It was just kind of that. It was long distance. We were literally every 2 weeks. Either I was driving to Pittsburgh to pick Kyla up from the airport and she would visit at my apartment for a week, or I was driving to Pittsburgh to jump on a plane and go visit in Georgia for a week. It was just a ton of travel and stuff. And, in July, I guess, we found the house, you know, closed on that, got it in September, and, I don't know, within 2 weeks of having gotten the house, she moved down here. It was kind of simplistic.
Well, plus, during that time, whenever all that was happening, when I flew out in October, I was going to be out here anyways for hunting season filming with you.
Yeah.
So, it was like months that I was going to be out here anyway. So, I was like, you know what, screw it.
Yeah, there was that side of it. So for hunting season, she was going to come down for like 2 months and like film all the hunts and all that stuff. And then, yeah, it was just kind of like, all right. At this point, just moving in. Nocturnal's best lighted knocks, dude, I'm telling you, and I know what it sounds like. I know that I'm sitting here and like they want us to test their product, and I'm going to make it sound like or is going to sound like I'm trying to sell you the product. These lighted knocks are incredible. I don't think I want to spoil too much about them, but I'll tell you at least this. There's no buttons, and there's no holes for blood to get into. The knock turns on with the momentum of the arrow. Does that make sense? Acceleration of the arrow. It turns off. All you have to do is like grab the non-knock end and flick the arrow downwards. It's rechargeable. It can be put into sleep mode so you can practice with it. They're maybe twice the price of Nocturnals, but once it goes through a deer or whatever, it's not clogged with blood. The battery isn't dead. You just recharge it and all that. I really, genuinely think they're going to be the next big thing in lighted knocks. I'm super excited about them. The guys were fantastic too. Just really, really cool people. Do they offer it in white? Wait, what the lighted knock? Green. That was part of their research. That's apparently the best color to see. A lot of extra stuff that would cause issues. I mean, maybe I'll have to, I'll try them for a season and see, but it's pretty foolproof. You don't need a mini screwdriver to turn them off? No. So I feel like I'm telling you all the features, but it was at a thing. We have a video on it, you'll see. Once you shoot, it turns on. 15 seconds of solid light, and then it starts blinking, which is going to make it easier to recover the arrow. And then, if you want to turn it off, like I said, you basically just grab right above the broadhead, give the arrow like a flick downwards, and it's off. It was... there's certain things that can't be improved on, generally. And we went up to them, and I believe TK basically said, alright, tell me why I should pick this knock. And they explained it, and I was like, I think you just convinced me. How many kills in? Oh my god, okay. We're in the area of like 900. I had a free shot there. I'm a little salty about that. Do you know if they'll sell them in Canada? I don't know where they're going to be available yet. I think it will get to there, but I don't know exactly. They were in the innovation zone of the ATA show, so they're just getting started. I'm not sure where all they'll be available. I think they have a website or something. So SureSight is the company, and they make like a range-finding bow sight as well. SureSight Smart Knock was the name of the thing if you want to look it up. I remember being obsessed with the Bronga. I still kind of am. It's the allure of some of the diamonds that has worn off a little bit for me. Like Cape Buffalo, when they got moved to like the coast, they're just so much easier to find diamonds of now than they used to be. Lions still kind of have the allure for me. Some of the small species, just as I would stumble into more diamonds over the years, they got a little less interesting. That's kind of all it was. I think that's going to be the tough part, Caleb, is like convincing people that they're going to save you money in the end. Because I'll be honest, rarely do I shoot a lighted knock through a deer and find that it's worth a darn the next time. Either it's clogged with blood and can't turn on, or, on a number of occasions, they've broken when they hit a rib or whatever. These ones, you shouldn't have... Only them breaking would be your concern, and they also, I can't remember how he described it. They're made out of something that should make them resistant. They're not at all, what did he say? Nothing is indestructible or something, but they're quite tough. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to sell anybody this. I just think they're quite possibly going to be the next big thing in lighted knocks. What's up, Mason? Got 2 piebald ducks today. Which species of ducks? It might have been a touch low. I guess it was. The hunting community nowadays is not my dad's generation's hunting community. Used to be every hunter was poor or famous. Nowadays there's hunters in every tax bracket. It's a real like industry at this point. Whether it's like a hunter that's designing products and going that way, or, you know, you've got the famous ones that you're talking about, like the people that are on the Outdoor channel. And because of social media, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or everything in between, people have that ability to grow that way. How are you on this lovely day? I'm doing good. How about you? What gun? This is the 300 from the Yukon Valley DLC. PA brother, what's going on, Be Wicked? Are lynx the hardest diamond to encounter? I actually don't think lynx are that bad, because they still drink on Reventuli Coast. It's early in the morning. I would put like side-striped jackal and red fox above them for difficulty. Any big males yet? Nothing so far today. I hunt for meat, but if a big buck walks by, I'm not gonna let him get away. I struggle with that, because I do hunting for meat. Like that's why I go out there. Just yesterday, when Kyle and I were visiting my parents, we brought home some back straps, some venison, some ground venison, and Dad made some kind of hot sausage venison stuff too. Like all year round, we're always getting venison. Dad has like, I don't know, 5 freezers in the garage just filled with venison. And by next October, most of that's going to be gone, and we'll be having the same conversations like, yeah, down a little bit, got to start killing some deer. But like you're saying, when there's a big buck there, like I'm hunting for big bucks, I'm passing up small bucks. I have a hard time articulating why I do that. There's like a fair chase element and stuff to it, but it's hard to explain. Hello. Killed a 19-point whitetail in real life. There you go, nice. Best gun for moose, I think most people would agree it's the 300. If you don't have access to that, trying to think base game weapons, you'd probably have to go 338. Black bear chili for dinner tonight, nice. A lot of times we'll do venison chili, but never had black bear chili. Where in Colorado do you live where it's... Wait, I might misunderstand what you're saying. Are you saying it's hard, like difficult hunting? Or are you saying it's hard to get into the sport? Because I would think getting into hunting in Colorado would be fairly straightforward. Because like as a resident of Colorado, you should be miles ahead of like someone like me. If I want to go elk hunting out there, I've got to... I believe my selection of like units and stuff is far worse. Whereas I think because you're a resident, you'd be ahead, but I think you might be talking about the actual difficulty of the hunt. What is your best diamond? That's tough to answer. Like, I guess it would be a super rare from one of them, maybe the piebald diamond gray fox, but it's always hard to rank when, you know, back in the old days, the old scoring system, you had 1,000, that was your highest possible score. Now, without that, it's difficult to sort of rank them, but I think we all kind of have a favorite. Your issue pertaining to what, Caleb? Like, difficulty of hunting kind of thing? In Colorado, it's just hard with no hunter family or hunter friends. Always wanted to know because, well, I've seen them in person, but just admired. Yeah, I got you. I would say that's the place anywhere. That's the place. That's the case anywhere. Getting into hunting with no connections, no friend that hunts or didn't grow up around it is definitely far more difficult. And it's always hard to like give advice because I'll get asked fairly often on streams like, what's your advice for someone that wants to get into hunting, but, you know, my family doesn't hunt or whatever. And typically, it's to try to find a mentor in some way, shape, or form, even if it's like through a hunting forum or something. Just someone to go to for stuff like that really helps. My most difficult hunting problem is choosing which farm to hunt. Mine comes down to choosing which stand and, you know, watching my target buck walk underneath the other one. Hashtag humble brag. Hey, there's nothing wrong with working hard, getting to where you have, you know, land and all that stuff to I feel like it's frowned upon, right? Not by everybody, but by some people. And do I think that hunting public is more difficult than hunting private? Yep. But some people spend their money on different things. Max score for tufted duck. Is it just 1,000? I think they max around 1 kilo. What do you like more, the old or new red fox? I think the new ones. Generally, I think they're better. I didn't mind the old ones, though. My most difficult decision is what public parking lot to go in on. I see what you're saying, yeah. I got you. What map should I hunt on right now? Well, anytime someone would ask that in the past, we would always say Medved, but Medved's actually kind of good. But why not? Give Medved a shot. Get a great one moose. What are we hunting? Speaking of great one moose, we are shooting every moose we can to hope to get a great one. When is that game? Cowboys Buccaneers tonight. Is it the normal Monday night time, like 8 o'clock Eastern? Hello? Are you by yourself? Bold, I'll give him that. Hirsch at night, obviously. That's the best place to hunt, actually. Oh, that second shot was a skull hit. Ruined it. 8-ish? Okay. Basically, I think I'm, after the stream, going to get groceries, and I kind of want to place a particular bet on that game, and I'm unsure about whether or not I want to do it, and I'll probably wait till right before kickoff, but I wasn't sure if it was while I'd be doing that. Did you get the chocolate mousse? I don't know what you mean. Giants upsetting the Vikings. While that was an upset, that may have been the most predictable upset ever. I think everybody thought the Giants would win, to be honest. Why don't you whistle when hunting pheasants? They fly instantly. Do they? Why would it be different than just spooking them? I didn't know that. I'll have to try it. Because it's effectively the same thing. I don't even know what button it is for me anymore. Hang on. How do I do this? Key bindings. Is it at the bottom? Whistle is semicolon. So it's the same, like it just spooks things. I thought. I mean, kind of. Yeah. I wonder why it's different. I'll have to give it a shot. I didn't know about that. If you could add one animal to Call the Wild, what would it be? Probably tall sheep. Okay, look. I have been on a whitetail great one grind since April of 2022 and still no luck, just a diamond? That's, wait, 1 diamond? How many kills do you have if you know? Whistle versus 22 Virant. That could actually be interesting. Pay attention to range and stuff like that. The 22 is definitely going to excel beyond, say, 150. What about adding a zebra? I do think they'd be a cool species. Do you have any pets in real life? Yes, we have a little blue heeler border collie mix sleeping on my lap right now. Are we changing up broadheads this year? No, we're sticking with VPA. Those guys are fantastic. Everybody that we interacted with, from like the owner and his wife to the marketing person to I don't even know what. Oh, the engineer. And I don't even know what the other guy's role was exactly. Everybody is just such great people. So there's that, and the broadheads are great. I have no reason to change. They're working with us. We're working with them. It's a perfect partnership for us. Didn't they add that whistle originally when they added ducks to make them fly from the water? I think so. So maybe there is some flushing thing there. I'll have to try it, like, when a pheasant is, like, running at me or whatever and won't fly. How much are they, Dylan? Do you know? About to go to a dentist appointment? I bet you get the great one while I'm there. I mean, I would appreciate getting the Great One and haven't done this early. How many whitetail kills to spawn a diamond usually? I mean, everything is random, right? But I would say on average, 250 or less. What would you think of an Alaskan coast map? Guess it depends on where. Because one thing I really want, like in a Fognac Island map, you could have Sitka Blacktail. I believe they had Roosevelt elk there. You could do brown bear or grizzlies, or probably, you know, not the best fit, but throw some Kodiak bears on a map like that. I just think it gives variety, even when Yukon's a thing. It could be different enough from Yukon to warrant its own map. Did we? No, we did not. What's a good map for red deer Great One grinding? Typically everybody goes to Te Awaroa for that. Is it frowned upon in game to shoot females? Nah. Not at all. I think it's probably more frowned upon in Classic. There's definitely or used to be, a subset of Classic players that were like against shooting does and stuff, which I never did understand that. But now there are many viable reasons to shoot female animals in the game. Can we get a big male? No. Good map for whitetail grind? I think Rebentuli's kind of the agreed upon best at the moment. What happened there? Wasn't there other blood? Very low. Guess that one's gonna get away. Why is Medved better than Rev for moose? So for me, it's about the lake size generally. Now that river run's kind of frustrating. It's a little bit lengthy, but it doesn't take that long. We're 28 minutes in, and I was a little bit slow with that. It's all these small lakes versus Reventuli. A lot of its lakes are like this big, so it just takes longer to cover all the ground for them. Do you watch DD33? I don't watch much Call the Wild content in general because it's, you know, what I do for a living anyway. I'll, you know, pay attention to his videos. I remember we were in Georgia at the time when he got his Great One. I remember watching that stream. That was one of the wildest things I've ever seen in my life. He is like mid-track for the Great One, and he just gets up. He's like, I'm gonna go eat some chicken. It was just gone for like 20 minutes. It was the most like, I know you guys are here to watch this Great One, but I'm gonna eat my chicken because I'm hungry. It was just like so confident, because I would have been freaking out. Like, if I do that, everybody's gonna leave. I can't do that. Everybody wants to see this, but he's like, nah, I'm gonna eat my chicken. I don't care. How many Great Ones do I have? Just the two. One whitetail, one red deer. Should I start a grind? I think that's got to be up to you. I think some grinds go very quick, and they're no big deal. Some grinds go on for thousands of kills and months, and you have to be committed to getting that thing. Otherwise, you're just sort of going to waste time. So if there's something you really want to get, then I'd say go for it. Otherwise, nah, just play the game how you been. I would take that so personally. It was like 2 a.m. Like, it was late. We stayed up too. Kyle and I sat there and waited. So, you know, he was right. How rare are piebalds? Generally speaking, they're the least rare of the rares. Like, for instance, on this moose grind, I've got about 900 kills. I've shot 6 piebald moose in those 900 kills. I have 0 albinos and 0 melanistic. Just watched a bison levitate and do a flip. We had a moose go flying earlier. What the heck? Why were they there? What are you guys doing? There's a decent bull in there too. I think that's probably why they're Like, to me, someone that has a Great One Bear has, like, possibly the best achievement you can get in the game. Because they are actually difficult to get, and there's, comparatively, I don't know, 5% as many Great One Bears. I've seen more Great One Moose in the last, like, week than Great One Bears ever. To get your current weapon, I need to do the Yukon story? No. If you own the Yukon Valley map DLC, you can purchase the 300, so long as you have the weapon score and cash. It's 75,000 in-game cash, 100% worth it, by the way, and I think it needs 6,000 or so weapon score. It's one of the only, like, map DLC weapons that requires in-game cash and weapon score, but it's such a game changer. I think it sorta needs it. If you could just, as a beginner, if you could just get that for free, the entire game is a joke, to be honest. What is your strat in Call of the Wild? For typical hunting, it's just to hunt whatever's active at the time. So, say I was on Medved, like, say I wasn't grinding for moose, right? Right now, well, this is gonna be stupid. Right now it's moose drink time, so I'd be hunting moose. But if it were 9 a.m., 10 a.m., I'd be hunting musk deer. I just go to places where I'm likely to encounter the thing that is drinking on the map. That's about it. Would you suggest 300 to 338? I'd go 300. It's got a full round capacity, whereas the 338 single shot, and for me that's enough to go 300. It looks dreadful. I didn't find it to be that bad. I think my biggest thing, like, if bears never drank in the daylight, I don't think it would bug me. Like, you still get a lot of bears at night, but knowing what it used to be like, it's just like, man, if I could go to the mule deer outpost and kill 15 bears right now, that'd be great. Instead, I'm gonna go get 2 and spook them because I can't see them in the dark. What time are you hunting right now? It's, well, what I typically do is about 1300 till 1600. Moose for just about everybody are coming late to their zones, so their drink time starts at 12. The late drink times start at 12:30. I just wait till 1300 to really get going. Unfortunately, no, Cody. I thought that, what do they call that? Apex Connect? I thought that was going to allow you to keep the same account over several different platforms, but it does not. It seems like that's something they should do, but they've not done it yet, at least. What the? Where do these come from? I think we got that. Not bad. 15 to 20 bears, that's about what I get. That's what I got in the daylight, too. It's just not fun hunting, whereas in the daylight it was easy. Can you explain what zeroing is? I can do it badly. Like, it's really weird, because I know exactly what it is, but I have a really hard time articulating it. So basically, as for, like, how to use it, you just want to zero for the range closest to the distance you're shooting. Zeroing is essentially offsetting for gravity. So, like, if I were to shoot, I'll use the 22 because it's a better example. If I were to shoot at this rock over here, zero for 50 meters, it hits way short. If I zero for 150 meters, it's still going to be short because it's further, but it hits almost there. That's all zeroing is adjusting for the gravity. So rather than having to aim high, you just zero for the range you're shooting and you aim dead on. It's a little bit stupid that bears spook from mountain lions. I would agree with that, but you know, I hadn't thought of that. I think it's generally kind of the way that I see it anyway. The devs changing mountain lion drink time and all that was probably a little bit to accommodate bear hunting and bear grinding and stuff. Why not just make it so the bears don't spook? The bears, are they afraid of mountain lions in real life? I mean, maybe, but even if they are, there's so many mountain lions in the game, it's unrealistic anyway. So, like, why not just make them pretend they aren't there? Can you explain that to me, Nate? Because I don't know what, I keep hearing that and I don't know what it means. My Call of the Wild nightmare was my water buffalo grind. I remember I would just stream Parquet and kill Diamond Water Buffalo all the time, and I probably took years off your life. Your reactions every time I'd find a level 9. Best weapon pack? Probably the Modern Rifles pack. I'd say that's probably the best, but weapon pack 1 with the 22 Virant is invaluable. Like that 22 can do so many things well beyond just like shooting class 1 animals. Being able to alert things from a distance with it is so important. So I thought so too, Bottom Boy, but Kyla said they've been saying that since before Trevor Lawrence went there for his post-game celebration. Even did it with the 30-30? I did, that's right. Didn't it troll though, or did I get it? What's the biggest thing you ever spooked? As in, I mean, I've spooked most diamonds I've shot, I feel like. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean, like, real life? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Next lake has the great one. So I've got it in my head that the lake that we just left will be where we encounter it. I've seen a number of people get their great one there, so there's that. But is where we've had most of our level 5s. Now, I'm not sure a single one of those 5s has been diamond, but actually the 4 was. Was that there? No, the level 4 diamond was up there. Well, anyway, this spot's where we keep getting 5s, so I always imagine that being the spot, but most likely it won't be. Are you a Penguins or Flyers fan? I mean, I guess Penguins, but I don't really follow hockey at all. Spooked the Great One Whitetail? I did. That's true. I think I spooked the Red Deer, too. I don't know that I ever saw it fleeing, but it was nervous. How'd the Dolphins nearly win? So I saw the first half. It was like 17-0 or maybe 17-3, something like that. And then the Dolphins ended up with the lead, and then I think the Bills got it back right before half. And then we were driving to my parents for just, like, we hadn't been there in a couple weeks. Everybody's been sick. Kyla hadn't even gotten her Christmas presents from my parents yet because she was sick the one day that I did go there. All this stuff that's not relevant to my story. And then we get there, and it's like 31-20, no, 31-34. That was the final. I don't know what the score was when we got there, but like the Dolphins were scoring touchdowns. I didn't know what was happening. Apparently there was the defensive score. It was just wild. I didn't think that game would be even remotely close. I did a 4-game parlay bet. And in my mind, all I was doing was betting on the Jags. Because I had the Bills winning straight up, no covering the spread, no nothing. The Bengals winning straight up, and the 49ers winning straight up. So basically, in my mind, if the Jags win, I got this. 49ers win fairly comfortably. You know, the Hawks had the lead at half, so that was closer than I think anybody even thought. But they end up winning. And then the Chargers are winning 27-0 over the Jags. And I'm like, okay, well, great. Listened to some people on TV that said the Jags were going to win. Now I feel stupid. And they come back and win. So now I'm just like kicking back like, I just made 25 bucks. Look at me, turned $25 into 50, good deal. And then we watched the Dolphins and Bills game, and that's way closer than I thought. I think that there was the defensive touchdown. Josh Allen turned it over like 3 times, but the Bills pull it out. All right, good. Now I've made my 25 bucks. And the Bengals and Ravens is close. We got all the way home last night with like 2 minutes left. No, it was maybe 8 minutes left. We were driving still at the time. Mike Tirico makes that call of, what do you say, balls out, that's live, and Hubbard returns that fumble for a touchdown. Like, it took borderline magic in a couple of those games for what I thought was a pretty likely bet to end up going through. But I realized something, because Al Michaels is getting a little bit older, and maybe his calls lack a little bit of energy. And by the way, this is in no way like a negative Al Michaels take. He has called like some of my best memories, from Do You Believe in Miracles to the Santonio Holmes play, James Harrison play, Malcolm Butler's interception, like all these great calls. I'm not saying that Al Michaels is in any way a bad play-by-play guy, but I kind of think my Toriko's the best in the game right now. I think of like all the great calls Toriko's had, he's pretty good. He was bottom boy. Tony Dungy's not the best partner. And I'm not saying he's bad either, but he's not the best partner if you want to come across excited. Tony Dungy's very even keel, mellow, like not gonna freak out. And I think to some degree you have to feed off the energy of the commentator partner you're with, like analyst is the word I'm trying to go for. So I think that probably messed with him. But Al had Thursday Night Football all year. Almost every game sucked. Gus Johnson's very good too, but Gus Johnson doesn't get the big games. So like I'm looking at basically the networks that might have the Super Bowl. So it's either Fox, CBS, or NBC. I'm basically looking at Al Michaels, even though I don't think Amazon, maybe Amazon will get a Super Bowl eventually. But I'm looking at Al Michaels, Tirico, Joe Buck, and Jim Nantz. Just because they're the 4 big networks that are going to call like the biggest games every week. Gus Johnson's call of, he has the Jags Hail Mary, that's a good one. But the one, it's Stokely's catch against the Bengals, where it got tipped into his hands. Like, him freaking out is the best. Does your game run on Steam? Yes. Best way to get money early to mid-game? I would just say shoot Fallow Deer on Te Awaroa. Even with the 243, you'll do fine. Thoughts on the new inline muzzleloader? It's underwhelming at best. I like Tony Romo too, Jeff, but he was not good yesterday. He was just like, I mean, if Josh Allen told him to polish a 30, he'd have done it yesterday. That man has a man crush on Josh Allen. And look, if you're a quarterback and obsessed with like great quarterback play, I guess fair enough. But it was very biased. You just don't want to see a biased call of a game, I guess. I don't know. Everybody was roasting Romo too. What are your moose shooting zones? I basically shoot moose everywhere except for in this area because the lakes are too close together. Like if I shot a moose over here while standing here, I'm spooking the moose from this lake and all that. So I just avoid that. You hate Chris Collinsworth? I used to. Yeah, here's a guy. I actually think Chris is great. The more, so like, for every bad Chris Collinsworth analysis, there's a million Jason Witten, can't even say Ibukam and stuff. I have appreciation for Chris when I see some of the guys that maybe aren't as good at it. Can you do another Te Awaroa, like another hunt on that map? I haven't been there since they changed it, but the only thing they added was mallard, so I don't have a lot of like, you know, gotta get there and check that out. Kinda anticipation for that map, I guess. Thank you for letting us take a pic with you at the ATA show. It was much appreciated. No worries, man. Were you the one that came back? Because I was trying to figure out, so I know everybody's name except for I think it was you, and I'm gonna assume that's your name in the your username there. But I realized I never caught your name and I got everybody else's. I was gonna list them in the video, and I was like, oh no, I never asked. Can you do a goose hunting video for a diamond? I am at some stage gonna do like just a goose hunt video on Reventuli Coast with the bean geese and tundra. Yeah. Bean geese and tundra bean geese. What am I talking about? Bean geese and greylags. But I can't promise when that'll be just yet. Think we got that in the log? Yeah. Cool. Very good. Now mallards are everywhere. Are they? I guess we'll have to give it a shot. Why don't you use herd management? I don't like what that does to diamonds. If I get to a point when I see a diamond and it means nothing to me, I'm going to have a hard time continuing to enjoy the game. So I don't play in a style that's going to put that at risk, basically. Have you ever watched Breaking Bad? No. Have you killed a diamond bison? Yeah. Quite a number of plains bison and, I don't know, half a dozen Euro bison over the years. Tips to play this game, hunt near water. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give anyone. Regardless, and I can show you pretty easily why, pick a lake. We'll go with this one. You can see these drink zones, and obviously, if an animal's drinking, it's not going to be drinking over here. You know, it's going to be near a lake. But if you see all these rest zones, they're right close to the water. Animals are just very often right near water. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. I was thinking that must have been you, but, like I said, I didn't catch your name and I felt bad. What's a map that isn't worth the money, like a DLC map? I hate to say New England, but probably New England. The gun that comes with it's not that good. The map itself doesn't have anything exclusive, other than I guess Bobcat, but they're the same as Mexican Bobcat on Rancho. Green-winged teal were also added to Mississippi, so you can hunt them there. I would also say probably Mississippi's not worth it, but if you want to hunt literally everything in the game, you're going to have one of the two. Well, no, you're going to have Mississippi, because there's gators and stuff. Are you going to do more Way the Hunter videos? I am. I just need to... I think... So Aaron's coming here this weekend. After that, I think I'm finally going to have time to worry about stuff like that. So this week, I'm still going to be like prepping some videos so we're going to rabbit hunt and stuff, so I got to have everything done for the weekend. And then I think everything from holiday travels to ATA show to Aaron coming and visiting is going to be in the rearview mirror, and I'll have time to, you know, play Way the Hunter and actually make decent content, because that's the issue. Like, I could just make a video on it, but unless I've passed some time in game, there's not going to be much difference going on. How do you grind from mule deer diamonds? I would personally... You could do SRP, probably. And then I think it's 1,400 to 1,700. Screw Away the Hunter, give us farming sim content. It won't be long after that I'm going to start streaming it on Sundays. I don't know what time I'm going to do those Sunday streams yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm not even quite to where I want to be in the game yet. Right now, it's a lot of like fast forward and wait for good fertilizing contracts to make some money, but I'm close to where I can be a little more self-sufficient on the farm, and I think that's going to make for the best stream content anyway. Nice outdoor prod. Congrats, man. Just joined How's the Hunt. Nothing real special yet. A couple of okay sized 4s, and that's been about it, but just about to get into our second run. Do you think... Where'd that go? Someone asked something. Do you think you'll add Africa 2.0? I hope so. I am beginning to wonder because, like, from my perspective, when you go into the multiplayer game selection screen on PS4 or on PC, unfortunately you can't do that on Xbox. Frahunga always is probably top 3 for the most sessions open. The map's like 5 years old. Like, that, to me, that says a lot about how much people would be interested in a second version of an Africa map, but here we are. 5 years in, still don't have it. I forgot about this spot. Let's go see what's here. So, can you do them as John Bottom Boy? Do you know? I don't know if you're actually to that point yet. Maybe you haven't quite gotten to that mission. Do you think this will be the last year of major updates to Call of the Wild? I don't see why it would be. Unless they have... I mean, they just released Call of the Wild the Angler this year. So I would certainly think if they're looking to push out another game, it's more than a year away. Tips to hunt in real life. The biggest thing I would say... This is a pretty decent musk deer we never killed. The biggest thing I would say is... try to find someone that already does it. Whether it's a friend or like a family member. Somebody that can... mentor you, kind of, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Do certain animals give more XP and cash? Yes. It's basically based on the maximum possible level for that species. So for instance, musk deer max at level 3, they're going to give less cash than pretty much anything that maxes at level 5, and those will give less than things that max at level 9. Predator species and red deer essentially give you the best cash. Wow. I don't know what the estimate was, but it could have been way higher than that. I got you, Bottom Boy. That makes sense. Did you end up... I'm assuming you played the entire thing after the video you sent me? Graphic settings look high preset. I have a 3060 and it doesn't like running Call of the Wild smoothly at 60 FPS on Ultra, so I just have it at high. It's sad the 22H is more powerful than the 223, is it? To be honest, I wouldn't know. I haven't compared them. Get my horse and guns back, that's true. Did you go to college? I went to college for like 3 semesters. I was going for... What are they doing up there? Anyway, I was going for computer science programming. And the first year, things were like, for the most part, going good. Was excited to kind of get into that field and everything. And then it was kind of that third semester, the beginning of the second year. It sort of became clear to me that a lot of working in that field is like maintenance and stuff, and a lot less of write a new program from scratch. Scratch, did I just say? Scratch type things. So, I kind of reached that point where I was like, okay, I don't think this is actually what I want to do as a career then. So, I was already doing YouTube. Just kind of said, okay, well, I'm sort of lost. Just gonna do YouTube for 6 months and see what happens. And literally, you know, they say some things are meant to be and all that, or everything happens for a reason. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Within like 3 weeks of me dropping out, Call of the Wild released on console, and the game just blew up. So it was perfect timing. I was so blissfully unaware of what happened, Bottom Boy. So like, I remember the game came out on PS4 first. And I remember being in voice chat when G-Man was playing it. And I remember him specifically saying something about his horse. I didn't know the rest. Like, I knew you lost your horse. I thought that was all. I thought that was the big, like, emotional thing. I had no idea what was going to happen after that. I was so caught off guard. How many kills do you need to get a Great One Moose? It's entirely random. Could be 1, could be 10,000. Should crossplay get added? I'd like if they'd add crossplay. Do I think they're going to? 6 years in? I wouldn't say it's likely. Do the footsteps of the dog annoy me? Yeah, but I've generally gotten to the point that I can kind of tune them out. Oh, too far. Is it hard to hunt a diamond plains bison on Yukon? I'd say it's probably a little easier on Silver Ridge Peaks, but it's not too hard. They move so slowly, you never have to worry about really spooking them. What animals need a remaster the most? Blacktail, Roosevelt elk. What else? They'd be my main two. Favorite Great One Moose fur type? I really like the oak. As much because I think it looks cool. I just saw a thing too. Somebody in like maybe Alaska on a flyover saw a leucistic moose. It's very close to the oak coloration, but is the name of that fur type? I just think it fits like Great One Moose, associate with like an oak tree or whatever. It just fits. You get burnt out on Call of the Wild? Not these days. I used to. When I was in my apartment, and it was right in the city, no grass, you know, whatever. There was no good reason to go outside, basically. So I was just, if I was bored, what else am I going to do? So I'd jump on Call of the Wild, typically. And I would just play like 12 hours a day sometimes. Now I probably at most play 4 or 5 hours a day. And I've got other responsibilities, whether it's taking care of Shadow or, you know, keeping up with things around the house, so I don't have enough hours to get burnt out, to be honest. You mean this? Bottom boy, it drives me nuts too. I despise it. I have the mission system turned off. Like, why is that a thing? Favorite NFL team? I'm a Steeler fan. How many hours in Call of the Wild? 5,920. Closing in on 6,000. Probably like 3 weeks we'll be there. That's about how long it took me, Xander. Hopefully it's just around the corner for you. Did your codex reset? Not that I'm aware of. I'm not sure, Dylan. I think we're going to try to get down to Georgia to hunt. At least one property, potentially several. And I'm not sure with West Virginia, since Will's a new dad and all that. I don't know, you know, priorities there, right? So, not trying to be a nuisance or whatever that would end up being. I remember those missions, Bottom Boy. All of them were a bit of a pain. I has returned from Philly. Welcome back. Red Deer feed time? I don't know. I used to know it, but it has since changed. DK Greer, thank you for the super chat. Finally able to catch a stream while here in Germany. Here's for some hope for good luck in this hunt and all upcoming hunts. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream from over there. Took a nap on the way home. Were you driving? Seems like a bad decision, really. How do you feel about trophy hunting? Like, does shooting something just to make it a trophy in real life annoy you? Yeah, so it depends on the context. Because I would argue that while I'm hunting for meat, I still trophy hunt in a way as well. Like, you know, I pass on 95% of the bucks that I see. Anything other, I did shoot a 2.5-year-old buck this year, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have. I did think it was a different deer. I'm not going to get into that whole story. Typically, I won't shoot any deer that's not at least 3.5 years old. So is that trophy hunting? Probably by some metrics. I'm not a big fan of, like, you know, I'll just say high fence hunting in general, but there's contexts where that's the only way. But okay, here's the way I can say it. If you're high fence hunting, pretending that you're not high fence hunting, and just going and shooting, you know, a 280-inch whitetail, that I don't like. If you're honest about high fence hunting, I don't care. Go ahead. What do you want to see become a great one? Mule deer is the top species I'd like to see. What's up, Danny? Have you been to the PA Farm Show? I don't think so. Nah, hey, I get you, Bottom Boy. Like I said, I don't want to make you feel like you have to make time for it or anything like that. So, whatever works, we got plenty of time to figure all that out. NA Hunting, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Don't you think they had a great one? Bison. Maybe. I think it would be good. This may come as a shock to some, but what other people do does not have to affect the way you feel. If what someone does bothers you, ignore it. That simple. I have tried my best over the last, like, 3 to 4 years in particular to, like, broaden my horizons and look at the bigger picture when it comes to, especially hunting, because I know that's the thing that you're specifically referencing. Like, 3 years ago, I would be 100% anti-baiting. If you shot a deer over bait, I would basically just be like, okay, well, that doesn't count. Would I hunt over bait? In probably some context, maybe. I'd prefer not to, but the biggest thing is, like, as I always say, if you're in a place where it's legal to bait, and you're not baiting, your neighbor is, so good luck getting any deer there. So, like, there's context to everything, whether it's crossbows, or baiting, or high fence hunting, or anything like that. And as long as, like you're saying, and to go back to the high fence hunting thing I mentioned, as long as people are honest about what they're doing, and it's legal, have at. What's up, Black Sheepbot? Grind's going alright, nothing to speak of so far, but we're just getting into it. From North Central PA. I'm from West Central PA. Not too far away. Do you bow hunt in real life? I sure do. Been bow hunting since I was, I think 15 technically. It was, I think the year I turned 14, Dad got us a crossbow because we wanted to start archery hunting, but basically we didn't have, you know, me and my brother had like probably $12 between the two of us. So Dad didn't want to have to buy like a youth-sized bow and then a few years later buy a bigger one or anything like that. So we just got a crossbow. One season of that. And it should be noted too, that was kind of relevant here. Even though I'd been hunting on my own at 14 for a couple of years, he still didn't want us hunting with a crossbow by ourselves for a number of reasons, safety being one of them. So, I was like, my eyes were immediately opened to hunting for like 2 months straight in archery season. So I saved up money, bought a bow, I think the year I turned 15, started archery hunting, and it's just, that's what I'm passionate about when it comes to hunting in general. Have you watched Scoop Jardangle? Okay, no, but I just saw his channel recommended today. Easy name to remember. So I'll have to check him out. When do you think they'll put squirrels in the game? I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. Hopefully it does. What's better, Cabela's or Bass Pro? It's the same thing now. Sold my rifle and just use a bow now? I forget who we were talking to. What the? Oh, I thought that was a moose stuck up there. It's just the graphics being funny. We were talking to somebody at the ATA show. And of course, this is an archery show, so I shouldn't be too shocked. But some people were saying, kind of like what you're talking about, they only bow hunt. When it's gun season, I still hunt with a gun. But if I could help it, if I could fill all my tags with a bow before gun season ever gets there, I would love to do that. Just flying moose, that's about it. What's going on, Soup? Bacon, honey bread? The Cabela's in PA is so cool. I don't think I've been to that one. I've been to the West Virginia one. I've been to the big Pyramid Bass Pro Cabela's things in Memphis. A number of random ones. One in Texas, the one in Georgia. I've been to, you know, quite a few of them, but I haven't been to the one in my home state. Bread. Would you play Red Dead Redemption 2? I did a full playthrough of it on Twitch. There's some of those episodes on my second channel. The entire thing's not there. I don't know how many hours I had it online. 300, 400 hours. I played quite a bit of it. Think trapping would go good with Call of the Wild? I think much like Call of the Wild the Angler, they'd be better off making a separate game for it. Trapping would not be good in the game. I know we've had this conversation specifically on stream before, but there's so many like nuances when it comes to trapping that just couldn't be replicated in a game properly. I just think it'd be tough. We need trail cams. Speaking of things that'd be difficult to replicate in game, I do think that would be doable, but it would be a challenge for sure to get that working properly. Instagram question mark? Do I have an Instagram if that's your question? I do. I don't use it often enough. I need to get better with it. But I have one. Call the Wild the Trapper. There's a Trapper hat and stuff in Classic. That's what they call it anyway. Do you fish in real life? Yeah. I'm actually really looking forward to a full spring of fly fishing because I just got into it. I can't even remember when. May, maybe June. Psycho Beagle, one of the moderators, lives like 20 minutes from me. And he was already fly fishing for who knows how long. And he basically showed me the ropes of it last year. But I missed some of the best fishing there, like in April and even early May. It could have been all of May. I don't remember when I got started. But I'm really looking forward to doing more of that this year. Starting fairly soon. What's your second channel? Just call it Flinter. I think trail cams will happen. The last 2 maps have both had trail cams in the outpost. All the way back to Silver Ridge Peaks, they had them, like those models, come from the Silver Ridge Peaks missions. I'm thinking about it, Bottom Boy. I do know, like TK was telling me, he went to Texas there for boar hunting, or hog hunting, I should say. And then they did a bunch of bass fishing because the hog hunting wasn't going well. And he filled up both of his cards before he got to the ATA show, so we had to go and buy another card to do the videos that we did. So, I think that's the only way to film fishing is just basically be rolling the entire time. But if I get some extra SD cards, I could probably make it work. What's up, Joe? The ATA show was awesome. I had such a good time. I got to... You guys know Dustin Huff? Shot the second biggest buck ever. I just spent like 15 minutes talking hunting with him. He's the coolest guy. Like, I can't imagine how many people come up to him and like want to know all about his deer and stuff. But he was just super chill and cool. He's working with a company called Heatwave, which they're gonna work with us with meat hunters this year as well. So I'm excited to do some of that. But just like talking hunting with a guy that shot a deer that big, and I know he's not like the shoot 190, 200-inch deer every year kind of guy, which is probably even better. But yeah, we were just chatting back and forth. He was giving me some pointers on different things that people do, like when it comes to calling, and it was just a really cool experience. I think his name is JJ from the Illusion call system too. Spent some time talking hunting with him. By the way, I told nobody that I shot a big buck, because I'm not that guy, right? I'm never going to be like, hey, you want to see my deer? But DK told everybody, so they all know that I shot a good deer and I didn't have to be that guy. Andy, thank you for the super chat. Where's the leak, ma'am? Dusky, I don't know if a gray mouflon is rare. Used to be uncommon, but they standardized all the fur types, so it might be rare now. Put on 2 pounds in 3 weeks. Hey, me too. Thoughts on what? Gunna and snitching allegations? I might be stupid, but I don't know what you mean. Hey, you want to see my deer? How big was your deer? It was 180 inches, 180 and 6/8. What did I miss? Not much. A lot of talking and not a lot of big males. I put on 10 pounds in a month to get on my level? I'll try, alright. How you get so much money? I've got 5,900 hours, and 51,000 kills, so it just sort of adds up. Thoughts on Cowboys Bucks? I'll be honest. I have watched Tom Brady win enough Super Bowls, so I'm officially rooting for the Cowboys for tonight, at least. But if you made me pick the game, I wouldn't feel good about either bet. It just has a weird feeling. This season's got a weird feel. Tom Brady's never had a losing season, and here he is, despite that, in the playoffs, home playoff game. I don't know, man. They might advance. I don't want them to, but they might. Got a leucistic reindeer, nice. I'm rooting that they both lose. It's 0-0 going into overtime, and Roger Goodell just calls down and says, no. Get him out. Tom going to the Super Bowl? Okay, so here's the thing. I am the last person who would ever have any doubts about whether or not the NFL is rigged. People say that. I don't believe it. I don't think you could pull that off with so many moving parts. But I'm tempted to put a little money on the Bucks because I kind of wonder. They shouldn't be in the playoffs to begin with, but here they are, 8-9, hosting a playoff game. Anything could happen. At the end of the day, I don't think he's going to retire anyway, Will, but it definitely has had a changing of the guard type feel to this season, like with Rodgers not getting in, first year with no Roethlisberger. Rivers retired like what, 2 years ago? Peyton and Eli are gone. Like there's not many of like those OG quarterbacks left. Hot take, Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott? Where do I stand on that? I think... What do I think? It's the same guy that made Josh Allen good. So I can't sit here and say it's Daboll, because Josh Allen was not very good till Daboll got there. I say give it at least a year. Because this is the only good we've seen from Daniel Jones, and I need a bigger sample size. Honestly, bottom boy, I think the Eagles could be in trouble next week. The Giants look good. This year, Danny's better? Just from a this year's sample size? Yeah, probably. Vikings choked again? That was the most, like, predictable ending to their season. Any of those OG QBs left? I mean, Rodgers. Assuming that he doesn't retire. Mad at our defense the whole game. The Giants defense we're talking about, I assume? That was the one game I didn't watch basically in its entirety. We were at my parents'. I think that was like dinner time or whatever, so I turned it on, it was 14-7. And then we ate dinner. And then I think we came back and there was like 12 minutes left and it was 24-24. Russell Wilson as an OG? I think he wasn't even drafted till 2010? I don't think he counts. That was rough. So Blair Walsh got run out of town after that one. I was kind of wondering like how because I know Justin Jefferson didn't have a huge game. I was wondering what they were doing to move the ball. I'm alarmed but not surprised the amount of ball game I missed due to the little one. I even noticed it when like we're messaging back and forth. Sometimes it just is an abrupt end, and I already know like what's happening. It's just like you'll get to it eventually. Are you a Steelers fan? Yes. Harbaugh lost the game last night with those timeouts, so I understood exactly what he was doing. There's a bunch of analysts that are like, what is Harbaugh doing? Like, okay, it's Joe Burrow. If you give him even probably like 20 seconds, they're going to go kick a field goal and win. So you have to score with probably 15 seconds or less on the clock. So what he was doing to me made sense, but I don't think they had the horses to do what they were trying to do. I think they needed to march the ball down and call timeouts like you're suggesting, but I understood what he was going for. And even still, Prochet almost caught that ball, which would have been wild. They'd 100% have gone for two as well. There's no shot that they were going to kick an extra point if they tied that, or if they scored. Is that true, Iron Duck? Oh no. Have you guys seen that documentary? Kyle and I watched that one night. Long distance watch, so like 3, 2, 1 play over the phone. But some of the stuff in that was shocking. That happens to me sometimes with recording. I'll be like mid-type, and then I'll get a warning call or whatever, and I have to stop. It is what it is that happens. Have you gotten trolled yet? Nope, we have not. So we're succeeding. Haven't killed a diamond, but, you know. Favorite hunting shows? I mean, Meat Eater's like the only one I watch. And our own, you know. But I don't think I'm allowed to choose that one. I don't have like cable or anything, so I don't have access to really any other shows at this point. You need a score that has to be the priority? For sure, yeah. But like I do understand what his approach was. You'd like to think you can believe in your defense enough, but there's a couple. It's basically like Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Burrow. I don't know if there's anybody else that I would be like, if you leave them more than 20 seconds, they're going to get a field goal. But they were against one of those guys. Like, I respect what he was attempting to do. Try Red Arrow. It's on YouTube. As, like, what? A channel? Have I been? Yeah, I have been there. We'll go to this spot. Are you still doing the black bear ground? We are going to get back to it, yes. You should watch Deer Society. I do. I met those guys at the ATA show. Like I said, I believe his name's JJ. I might be wrong about that, but I'm almost sure that's his name. Spent a good bit of time talking to him. He's the one that killed Curly, that long white tines buck from the ground. He's killed a bunch of big deer too, but he was cool to talk to. Give me Kirk over Burrow? Alright, I don't know about that. On the same, like, I would maybe take Kirk with Vikings O-line over Burrow with Bengals O-line. Maybe. Probably not. But, like, put Burrow on the Vikings. I think he's probably at least one game better, record-wise. Who's your favorite quarterback in the NFL? I am a Rodgers fan. Let's see. Used to be a Russell Wilson fan, but he turned out to be quite the goober. I can't pick Mahomes or Josh Allen. That's the most obvious. I don't know. I mean, you know, Kenny Pickett because he's the Steelers quarterback, but I'm trying to not be a homer in that question either. I guess Rodgers. I don't really have like a... None of the young quarterbacks are my favorite necessarily. I enjoy watching them all play. How about that? What makes Russell Wilson a goober? To be honest, some of the same things that make him great, or let me say made him great, until he played like garbage. It turns out that the whole... Here's what it was for me. It was the jumping jacks on the plane and all that, and you could tell some of it was being... he was exaggerating some of his stories, like trying to make himself sound like, you know, the ultimate leader, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't work well when you end the season 5-12, or even 4-11, 4-12. One of the games they won, he didn't play. High knees, not jumping jacks. That's right. Well, the reason I said jumping jacks is they have that green screen of him doing that Broncos country, let's ride, and then somebody did some Photoshop magic and photoshopped him into a plane doing that. It makes me laugh so hard every time I see it. Broncos country, let's hide. The one of... It was that Thursday night. Who'd they play? That Thursday night game where Richard Sherman was going off, because of course he hates Russell Wilson for throwing that interception. Him screaming Broncos country, let's score was so funny. Do you watch basketball? I don't think I've ever watched a game, like an NBA game to completion. I played basketball in high school, or in grade school rather, but I never watched it on TV. Still better than Colts and Texans? Debatable on the Texans one. I think the Texans were better than the record showed. Russ is going to win MVP? Maybe. I gotta see it to believe it now, because towards the end of the year, he kind of figured some stuff out, but he just looked scared and lost a lot of this season. Not scared in the sense of, like, taking a hit or anything. He looked afraid of messing up and being the reason they were failing. I think that's what it was. Once there was criticism on Hackett, I think he was afraid of making the big mistake that would shift the criticism to him. And that's the sense I kind of got, at least. All the Broncos' 5 wins are Russ. I believe Brett Rippon won a game. Against the... who? It was a lower record team. Yeah, the Cardinals. What's your favorite Great One grind? I mean, the whitetail took me the least amount of time, so maybe that. Thoughts on the Lions? I think they're going to make the playoffs. I can't be certain that Jared Goff can hold off being Jared Goof for enough games to get there. But I think Dan Campbell turned the culture around a little bit. That's why I think tanking is just stupid. Like, guys just sort of, it's weird, but like, they're humans. They sort of learn to lose in those close games. And you'd just rather have a team that thinks they can win, you know, score on that 2-minute drive or stop the team that's going to try to score on a 2-minute drive, than be the team that always loses in those situations. Who you got in the Super Bowl? I picked Bills and 49ers March of last year, and I'm sticking with it. I also said the Bills were going to win. If they matched up, I kind of think the 49ers might win. Great One Moose grind on River Yukon. I think Yukon would be interesting, but the river would make it challenging. Do you hunt in real life? I do. Who you cheering for in the NBA? I don't even know. I know the only thing I know about the NBA actually is LeBron's going for the points record. And I think he might possibly want to play with his son at some stage. Isn't his son like almost able to be drafted or whatever? Maybe a year or two away. I'd say, as far as Trevor Lawrence and the Jags go, that proves coaching matters. Because some people don't really think coaching does matter. I would say, for instance, lots of Steelers fans who want Mike Tomlin fired think he just doesn't do anything. But you look at the turnaround that the Jags had, the roster's not different. They paid 3 free agents, but it was Zay Jones, Ingram, and Christian Kirk. None of those guys were considered like top of the, maybe Evan Ingram, talent-wise. But it's largely coaching that got them to where they are. Get anything good yet? Not even remotely. His son is a senior in high school? How old do you have to be to play in the NBA? It's not as old as, like NFL, for instance, I believe. Urban Meyer's the worst coach in NFL history. Him and Bobby Petrino probably would, have a good battle for that. Unfortunately, he was the Falcons coach, so. With Mike Vick, I think, right? Speaking of coaches, guess New England has a lot of coaching changes coming this offseason. I think the Steelers play them again next year because they both finished third in the division. And I can't decide if I feel like the Steelers have good odds of winning that or if they're just going to revamp their entire coaching staff and be ready to go. I kind of feel like it's going to end up being that. What's up, Space Cowboy? the offensive thing didn't work. I think they should hire another defensive coordinator to be their offensive play caller. I don't actually think that, in case anybody thinks I'm serious. But, yeah, maybe an offensive mind would be a better idea. This is just asking to have to track a bunch, but is what it is. Can a level 8 cape make diamond? I don't believe so. I don't think 2 308 shots are going to kill that. Believe Barney needs to go to college for a year before he can go to the draft? I know next to nothing about LeBron and like how run down his body is from playing for 20 years, but I don't get the impression that he's at the very end necessarily. Can a level 8 red deer make diamond? There was one posted at one time, but I don't know for certain that it was legit. So I'm going to go with I don't think so. There's that one that we hit. Slow down. That hit him. Maybe it'll bring him down. Of the backfield animals you've hunted so far, which one seems the best fit? I think pronghorn. Turkeys on Layton make a lot of sense too, but pronghorn on Rancho, it's amazing it wasn't a thing to begin with. The U.S. hunting industry is a very weird concept for me. Here in South Africa, hunting on public land is considered poaching. Yeah, it's an entirely different thing. I don't know much about hunting in South Africa, only from, you know, having talked to community members and stuff. But here, public land hunting is like considered the most pure form of hunting. I would even say public land bow hunting. Like if you get a buck of any size on public land with a bow, that's like a record book buck on private land. How long have we been live? Yeah, about 90 minutes. I don't know what Antonio Brown has, to be honest. Second favorite NFL team? Was the Seahawks for a long time, for a number of reasons. I guess it can still be the Seahawks. A lot of it was, again, before Russell Wilson kind of proved to be a bit of a cornball. He was kind of like the defied the odds. What is he? Is he 5'11"? Making as an NFL quarterback, that kind of thing. But like I said, he's a bit of a goob, so I don't know. But he's not on the team, so I can stick with the Seahawks. Best trophy? I think it has to be the Piebald Diamond Gray Fox. I don't disagree with that. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'd say Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson would probably have something to say about that, but I don't know. Like, where would Chase have been without missing 4 games? They'd have been a lot closer. I know you've answered this before, but do you watch college football? And if you don't, now that you're getting married, will you watch Georgia? I watched college a little bit. I watched the entire, what was the game? Whatever the, like, semifinals of the college football playoffs are. I didn't watch all of TCU, Michigan, but I did watch all of Ohio State, Georgia, and then I watched the entire national championship. If it's on, like if it's a Saturday evening and I'm not doing nothing, I'll watch, but I don't, like, actively follow it, if that makes sense. Allen Diggs and Burrow Chase are pretty close. Allen and Diggs do have a good connection. Well, that's happening here. That's when he came back? No, we got him. Okay, cool. Fiesta and Peach Bowl. Yeah, I can't keep track of the names of all of them. Gotten anything good this stream? Not at all. Alright, might as well reset the time and switch maps again. We still got 30 minutes, but we're almost at the end of Moose Drink time. Things to do in Pittsburgh. I don't think I've ever, like, gotten out of the truck in Pittsburgh. I've been there 40 times in the last couple of years going to the airport for travel and stuff and been through it a bunch, but actually no, when I was in grade school we went to the Jerome Bettis Bar and Grill. I can promise you that's a little expensive, but that's a bit of an experience. Other than that, yeah, I haven't spent much time actually in the city. Where should we go? I guess we could do... Did we do the Big Lake yet? We haven't. Let's do... Let's do just the top half of the river to make sure everything is going to be in their zones at the Big Lake. Then we'll do that. Longest shot in Call of the Wild? I forget. 434 meters? Yeah. The .00 is broken. It doesn't... It's not even broken. It just doesn't read the decimal. So it may have been 434.2. Who knows? Big Lake. How do you get money fast? I would say go to Te Awaroa and shoot every fallow deer you see. Or red deer. If you have a big enough gun, like if you got the 308 or the M1, I'd even go red deer, but maybe if you're rolling with like the 243 like early on, I would just worry about fallow. I have not hunted PA elk. I've been putting in for the last couple years, but I haven't been drawn yet. There's a difference between my prediction and what I'm hoping for, Bottom Boy. What I'm hoping for is both teams to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. How about that? What were the... It's plus 2,600, right? Like, it's really crazy odds for what feels fairly likely, but obviously it can't be that likely if that's the odds. Can't time that, right? Oh, what the... Must have hit that thing in the head. Okay. You want to hear Kyle? Go ahead, Kyle. No Kyle here, sorry. A troll moment where I hunt dinos? And Kai Dome's a max weight Great One Moose. Maybe for April Fools we could do something like that. Toxicity, what's going on, man? If you could design a map, where would you base it? I mean, I want like an Africa 2.0, but if I were to go unique, I kind of like the idea of Greenland. It would be a little bit basic in terms of species. Muskox, caribou, completely redo the caribou True Rex. I think you could do like Arctic fox, maybe Arctic wolves, I don't know if they're out there, and like some ptarmigan and stuff. Again, it would be limited, but I got to thinking about that, and if they made really good looking like caribou antlers and some muskox, I'd actually rather enjoy it. Ever gonna get a face cam? Never say never, but it's not on the top of my list at the moment. What all video games do you play? These days, it's mostly Call of the Wild and Classic, with some farming sim sprinkled in. Huh. If only I could have done that with the bull. Am I right? Blacktail drink time 16 to 21 is somewhere in there. That sounds about right. Arctic or Alpine or bad? Is Greenland not Arctic? I think that counts. Alpine seems good. Give me some Alpine Ibex, I'd be a happy lad too. Or Marco Polo sheep, all in for that. Are they going to bring back 60 FPS for Xbox S? Did they remove it? We gonna get any farming sim vids? I don't know about videos for sure. I'd like to. Maybe I'll make videos of the streams. So to clarify, I'm not streaming it yet, but after the Super Bowl, I'm planning on doing Sunday farming sim streams. They might not be every Sunday, they might be at weird times, but I want to do it. I think it'll be fun. Greenland and Iceland are flip-flopped? Yeah. I love some actual mountain hunting in Call of the Wild, but the render distance really limits that. Yeah, I remember when Mountain Goat came out, I took the 6.5 and just went and did some hunting in the mountains for them. And it was fun, but 400 meters just ain't enough. Wade Hunter, you can go out to like a kilometer, but I don't know. I think the biggest thing, like the biggest reason that I don't care to do that as much is the way that spotting works. You don't know what you're shooting at that distance. Actually. Might have made a mistake. Get out of the way, Sir 12. Got 4. Nice. Got 4 of them in there. That's glorious. Anyway. How do you quickly take the scope off a gun? Middle mouse button click. I think it's on console. It'll be up with the D-pad twice, and then A on Xbox, X on PlayStation. Overkill much? I didn't want to track. Okay. Seductive pose. I mean, you know, whatever works for you. If 2 wasn't enough, I think we got lungs. It would have been. What do you think of an Australia map? I think it could work. They have 2 in Hunter Classic, Pickabeen Bay and Bushrangers Run. Maybe if they could somehow kind of combine the 2 in Call of the Wild, that'd be a neat thing. They did remove 60 FPS. Why? I wonder why they would do that. It doesn't make any sense. Did they give a reason, or did they just do it? I didn't want to try. I didn't. What are the odds we have another max score diamond links, but on Medved this time? The Titanic floats by boat? I bet. Have you ever been to the Netherlands? I have not left this glorious country, so no. What's up, Tucker? You haven't missed much. Been chatting about different things, the ATA show, NFL, football, real-life hunting, all kinds of stuff. As far as in-game things go, haven't even shot something remotely interesting. Which, to be fair, I did say in the title I didn't want to get trolled. Haven't had that happen. And you live in the US? Yes. Because Xbox S couldn't handle it? So what you're saying is, I think I understand it now. I was looking at it as, it was able to achieve 60 FPS, but they removed it for some other reason, like maybe overheating or whatever. But you're kind of saying like it wasn't even able to get 60 FPS? I have not been hunting in Illinois. I'd like to go. Illinois, Iowa, I forget which state it is, but you need preference points maybe for both. I'm gonna start trying to stack a couple of those. Just killed a gold mellow moose. Nice. Aren't most consoles locked at 30? I think the older gen consoles were. Think that should be 2. I got you, Soup. Okay. That makes sense. We should do Iceland? It's a big jump, okay. Favorite NFL team? I'm a Steelers fan. My special teams coach bought a brown toque because his wife's a Steeler fan? Like Antonio Brown? Is that what you're saying? Do you have any tips on Great One Moose? I mean, I haven't gotten one myself, but best I can say is shoot every bull moose you see and continue to hope for the best. Finally made a stream. How's it going? It's going good. Hopefully, in the next 20 minutes we can get a halfway decent moose at some stage, but killing a bunch of them, and that's always important. Browns! I gotcha. Thought you meant Antonio Brown, and I was like, why? I'll get it. Nice. Just killed a diamond bighorn. What map? What is the Great One? Essentially, it's like a step above diamond. There's only 4 species, I lied. Only 4 species that can have a Great One. Moose, black bear, whitetail, and red deer. And it's the only animal or only thing that can be level 10. If you see a level 10 of anything, that's a Great One, provided that you pass all the harvest checks. Your voice and vids are so soothing. Why, thank you. Where's the best place to go to get a diamond anything? Probably Cuatro Colinas. Ibex in particular. Who are you cheering for tonight? I'm cheering for Dallas because I think Brady has won enough. He should be good, you know. If he doesn't get a ring this year, I think he'll be alright. Might hurt it, you know. He might not be a first ballot Hall of Famer with his 7 rings, but he'll get there. Nah, I'm not rooting for Dallas to go all the way either. For Bottom Boy's sake, I guess I am. If it comes down to like Dallas and Cincy, I'll root for Dallas. But yeah, I've just seen Brady win enough. Be happy with someone else to get there. Nothing would bring me more joy than you getting a Great One Moose on stream, but it's on Twitch and I made you turn the weapon ugly. I do rather enjoy trying to make them look absolutely terrible, if you can't tell, when we go to do that, going through all the combos. What's up, Dino Dog? What time is it for you? It's 4:42 p.m. here. It's going, Adam. We're getting a little somewhere now. It took a long time to get going because it was in... When did it release? Was it in hunting season? I think. Yeah. Because New England released in hunting season. So that kind of slowed it down. Then we were traveling for the holidays, so I had to prep. But it just took a long time to get going, but we're going now. Almost to 1,000 kills. Have I missed anything so far? Nothing to speak of. Who do you think's gonna win? I'm like afraid Tampa's gonna win. I'm thinking Dallas is going to, but you just can't bet against Brady in the playoffs. Thoughts on the Eagles going to the Super Bowl? I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they're gonna get there. I think the Niners are gonna be too tough. I think they're gonna have a hard time with the Giants next week. I don't think they're gonna get there this year. I think they probably will find their way there in the next couple of years if they can hold the team together before they got to pay Jalen Hurts, but I don't see it happening this year. They looked a little rusty against New York here, last week? True NFL fans have every team ranked in order of who you'd root for against who. Like, I'd rather the Bills beat the Bengals, but wanted the Bengals to beat the Ravens. For those particular teams, my rankings are going to be the exact same way. Is that because Jazzy's a Steeler fan? I'm guessing so. Because like I said, for our Falcons, for instance, for Kyla, if the Falcons were playing, if the Falcons are playing the Steelers, I'm going to root for the Steelers. But if the Falcons are playing like anybody else, I'll root for them. And therefore, if the Buccaneers are playing somebody I don't care about, I'll root against the Buccaneers because they're in the NFC South. How you been doing these days? Been doing good. You know, had a very busy last almost 2 months. From Tennessee, that was November, I got back November 12th. And then like the end of archery season, rifle season starts, that's all systems go for 2 weeks straight. And then after that, I had a little over a week to prep for going to Colorado for Christmas. After that, I immediately got sick, so that was great. Then I had to prep for the ATA show, so like it's just been nonstop. Like every time, it's almost demoralizing in a weird way. Like you prep an entire week of videos and all the thumbnails, and you go on the YouTube page and see like this whole week of videos, and after you get back from whatever you prep for, you gotta go right back to it. It's like, man, I was busy that entire week that I had off, basically. So it's always a little bit weird getting back into the swing of things, but basically officially to the point where I can get back into the swing of things, which is good. I grew up hating the Steelers because my dad did, but it was fun hating them because they were so good in the early 2000s. That's the thing, too. It's like, you know, I was more or less raised to hate the Patriots, and that whole 20-year run, anytime that, it was amazing. Like, if they would lose, A, everybody was shocked, regardless of who they lost to. But B, if you're rooting against them and they lose, it was almost better than the Steelers winning. It was such an odd thing. How do we meet? I mean, basically through YouTube. I was doing this, streaming. Kyla was hanging out in chat, made her a mod one day. I don't know, it was like 2 years later, we actually finally chatted for a little while. And here we are. I will always hate the Pats and Cowboys and the Bears. The Bears are no threat. What do you think about Justin Fields? A lot of people are convinced he's the guy. I just don't see it. He's good at running the ball, but where has that gotten literally any running quarterback ever? Cordell Stewart to like the championship game? It's about as good as any running quarterback's ever done. With like one of the better defenses ever. Sometimes the Chiefs losing is better than the Broncos winning. It's a funny thing, and like when the team you're rooting against is better than the team that you root for, there's a little something extra there. Like a lot of you guys will know what I'm talking about. The Jesse James no catch, Steelers Patriots, maybe 2015, thereabouts. The feeling of like the Steelers finally beat those hated Patriots and then they took it away, which probably the right call at the time, but it's a catch 100% now. And then like what, a play later, a tip ball gets intercepted and the Steelers lose. That might be that was harder than watching them lose the Super Bowl to the Packers. The Giants ruining the past perfect season will always be my favorite Super Bowl. So my dad worked, I don't know what time he had to wake up at like 4 a.m. my entire childhood. So almost any Sunday night game, including the Super Bowl, other than when the Steelers played in the Super Bowl, he would watch the first half and then go to bed. So I remember he had no faith that the Giants would win that because the Patriots were 18-0. And he told me to like let him know who won. So I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. So what I do is write a note and leave at his spot at the kitchen table. And I wanted to surprise him, so I wrote, the winner is the new, and then like the thing to flip it over because it was New England versus New York. And I don't know if he actually flipped it over and was surprised or not. He never told me. But hopefully he flipped it over and was a little bit shocked that it said New York and not New England on that. The one team I cheered for that's actually won something? I don't remember much from that game. I was still kind of young. Like, I have some memories from the Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl, but much of it is relived through like YouTube highlights and stuff, and kind of cemented those things. All I remember was the Rashard Mendenhall fumble that basically cost the Steelers the game. It was like a big comeback. They were losing by a lot, and they were right back in it, and that fumble kind of put the final nail in the coffin. I'm the 270 Stradivarius. What should be the next rifle I get? 7mm probably. Cody, thank you for the super chat. With Green Bay out, I'm 10,000% on the Brock Purdy train. I hope that he becomes like the next, I don't know, like the next Tom Brady-like story. I don't think he's going to win 7 rings. But if he can win 1 or 2, going from the last pick in the draft to like winning, even if he wins 1 Super Bowl in his entire career, that will be like, regardless of where players get drafted, that's a huge estimate level 4. That'll be the guy that people point to. I think that'd be cool. It could be Bottom Boy, I don't know. Mr. Irrelevant for the win. He turned into Mr. Very Relevant very quickly. That might be a Diamond 4, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. This account is getting trolled if I expect it. Madden 2010, I know what you're talking about, Marvelous Meme Guy. That playoff run, Larry deserved a ring for that. And he almost deserved a ring just for how well he played against the Packers in that game where Rodgers basically completed back-to-back Hail Marys to even get to overtime. And then Larry said, nah, sorry. Your Hail Marys don't faze me. Where's the KG Flinter collab? I just don't think our content styles mesh, to be honest with you. It's just not the best fit. I don't think for either of us, frankly. You know what's always made me sad about that soup? I wasn't even alive at this time. But against the Cowboys in whatever Super Bowl that was, Super Bowl 30, Bill Cowher made the exact same decision and it also worked. But Neil O'Donnell threw the game away, so Cowher isn't lauded for making the same decision 15 years prior. As a Broncos fan, I rooted for the Niners despite them having our first round pick because they were playing the Seahawks. Well, yeah, that makes sense. If you collab, it should be for a TikTok. Just a quick 3-minute Hunter Call the Wild collab. Doesn't he play on console? He probably has a PC too. Alright, I don't know what antlers this is. I can't really tell. I think there's hope there. If it's got a big enough spread. Ah! Missed by 1. Why does this game hate me? We technically didn't get trolled, but we basically got trolled. Lucky that even worked. It's like through the antler. We've hit the antler of moose before too, so it's a thing. What a pose. Well, anyway. Troll. Big male? Question mark? Almost. What was I? Oh yeah, somebody asked about the Chargers game. I don't even know who to blame. You know? Like, they ran it 8 times in the second half. But they can't run it. But would they have been... So I thought of this with the Colts Vikings comeback too. I wonder if they had just basically knelt down 3 times every single drive and just killed whatever it would be, 2 minutes off the clock every time they got the ball and punted it back. I wonder if they'd had a better shot. They actually moved the ball and got some first downs. The Colts basically did nothing the entire second half. They legitimately could have knelt every single second half play and won the game. I don't know if the Chargers could have done that, but that shows you why you got to be able to run the ball too. Best quarterback? It's hard to say Mahomes isn't the best. Burrow is dang good too. Josh Allen has become a little turnover prone this year, but he still has that kind of that same factor that Daniel Jones has. When you can run as proficiently as he can, that's another person you got to defend on the field, which is pretty tough on a defense when he's that good at throwing. Like, you can't just assume he won't throw deep. Like, you can kind of defend Lamar Jackson and be like, all right, you're probably not going to beat us with your arm. You can't do that to Josh Allen. You didn't claim 2 moose, did I? Oh, you're right. That's okay. Don't ever say Mahomes is the best. Okay, even though you root against him, do you actually think there's a better quarterback? Like, this is a genuine question. I'm not trying to be like, come on, agree with me. I really want to know, like, from your perspective. Because I probably also did the same thing with Brady. I kind of think... Nah, I can't. As good as Peyton Manning was, he didn't come through in the clutch all the time like Brady did. And I know Brady got all kinds of breaks, but, you know, he has the rings. What do you do? Were you ignored by me?
No, I'm just trying to answer questions.
Oh.
And then they're asking again, and I'm like, alright, well, I tried.
I gotta hook up your mic and you can just cut me off all the time with answers. Have you ever shot a gray mule deer? Yeah, that's just a common fur type. Manning's better than Mahomes? Manning had a better career than Mahomes has had so far, but he's in like year 6. I think Mahomes is going to end up being generally considered better. Manning was great because of his at the line stuff, like the mental side of the game. Mahomes is like quite possibly him and Josh Allen both. It's wild that we're watching at the same time 2 of the most like physically gifted quarterbacks ever, and they're going against each other like every year. I don't know if we have a spreadsheet for that bottom boy. We probably do. For me, it's always just like, you know, I play the game too much, so I see them and remember most. For some birds and stuff, though, like I'll kill something that I haven't shot in a long time and see a plumage type come up, and I'll be like, is that a rare? I don't know what that is. I haven't seen one of those before. And half the time, it's an uncommon. I've had some with that Rack Marvelous meme guy that make diamond for sure, but sadly not quite. Rugby union? I thought that said rugby unicorn in purse. I don't know why, but the college that I worked at, I worked in their dining hall for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Rugby was on the TVs all the time there, so I watched that because it was on. But other than that, nope. Last time an overlooked Giants team made it past the first round of the playoffs, they ended up winning a Super Bowl. Did you know that the last time the Giants won a playoff game and did not go and win the Super Bowl was 1993? Which essentially means every time they made the playoffs in the last 30 years, they've been eliminated in the first round, other than twice when Eli Manning just went on an absolute tear. Can you do a stick-a-deer guide? I guess I probably could. I have to re-familiarize myself with them. I haven't hunted them much in the last year or so, but they're actually kind of fun to hunt now, the way the redistribution changed them. Danny Dimes is that guy? We had this conversation before. Someone said, like, I think it was hot take, Danny Dimes is better than Dak Prescott. And I need to see more from Daniel Jones before I can say, like, 100% yeah. But you can't just say, nah, it's Brian Daboll, because look what he turned Josh Allen into. So, maybe. We'll see. I want to see another year or so. Favorite NFL team? I'm a Steelers fan. Opinion on small game hunting in this game? It's not replicated the best from a realism standpoint, but I'm glad they have as many small game species as they do to keep things interesting in the game. What maps would you like to see in Way the Hunter? Africa and Alaska is the 2 I want. So long as he doesn't trip on open 70-yard touchdown runs. Wasn't it? It was like 80, right? It was a really long run. It would have been amazing. It's one of the saddest things that he didn't make it. You want toast? Toast is great. Biggest kill so far, we had a 273 moose, so missed diamond by 1. It was a level 4 though, so technically we have avoided getting trolled for 2 hours. What gun would you want in game? I don't really have like a particular caliber or anything I want. I wouldn't mind if they did a 7mm mod 8 just because that's what I hunt with in real life. But yeah, I don't have like a particular thing other than that. Bolt action 7mm, I'd be alright with that. I didn't even see that guy. Jacoby Myers though, I still don't think that's really his fault. I think Ramondre Stevenson completely caught him off guard. And when somebody laterals you the ball in that setting, if it was me, I'd be like, am I stupid? Are we losing? And probably try to make a play. I don't really blame him. I more so blame Stevenson. Bolt action 7mm that's still 4-9. Yeah, that would become the best gun in the game, I think. Another map is coming. You know something about this? Nope. The only thing that I know is that probably sometime around June we'll see another map. That's their typical schedule. Finally got a diamond. Whitetail, nice, congrats. What are some of the most common questions you get? Favorite map, favorite species, biggest buck in real life, stuff like that. Where'd the name Flinter come from? I'll tell that story, and then we'll wrap up. So I played Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2009 a lot. I really liked that game. Played through the entire story campaign like 3-4 times. And finally, after the, say, 4th time, I was like, alright, I gotta find another game. I was familiar with the Hunter Classic. Finally decided to try it out. I had to make an account name. And having just recently played that, I was like, alright, I'm gonna be Flint Abrams, the main character from Dangerous Hunts 2009, in this game. And that name was already taken. Flint was already taken. So I slapped an ER on the end and called it good. And whatever this is now, 13 years later, here we are. 12. On that note, that's going to do it for this stream. We didn't get trolled. We just didn't get a diamond or a rare today either, so go figure. But probably killed over the course of 2 hours 75 moose, something like that. I didn't keep good track, but we'll figure it out. Closing in on 1,000, hopefully closing in on a great one moose sooner rather than later. But on that note, that's going to do it for this stream. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support today. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video. We're bringing back Let's Go Trophy Hunting in Hunter Classic, and I'm pretty excited. Bye!